Good evening. What are you doing? What is that? Test. Then? Okay. Take out your book. Yesterday we completed with what? Connective tissues, no? Take out your book. Check with connective tissues. Take out your textbook and read that part on connective tissues and tell me if that is understood what I have explained to you yesterday. Then we are going to do the next, that is epithelial tissues. Once animal tissues are done, then we move towards plant tissues. Plant tissues comparatively easier and few types only, so not too much. Connective tissues, read all of it. Both of you read connective tissues. Take out your turn to that chapter tissues. Which page is it? Connective tissues. Read. Connective tissues, read. We did some questions yesterday. We'll first of all complete with epithelial tissues today, then plant tissues. Yesterday I told you to complete that one question, no difference between organ and organelle. And both of you vanished yesterday. I told you, no, that I am coming in a minute. You both vanished. Did you complete that question yesterday that I asked you to do? Okay. Read. Connective tissues complete curve. Read. If there is any doubt, ask, clarify, and then we move on to. Anything to ask? Anything to clarify? Nothing? Give your textbook. I'll give you some 10 questions from the 3 types of tissues. See whether you are able to answer. I'll give you the answers first, but you have to try it first on your own. Right. Questions, take out your notebooks. Questions, number 1. Number 1, name the following. Number 1, name the following. So you did not finish that work yesterday and you ran away? Huh? Why did both of you leave yesterday? Who asked you to leave? Looking at each other. Huh? Veer, who asked you to leave? Why were you going? He's saying that you were going and you are saying that he was going. Chalo. Name the following. Number 1, the long muscle fibers. The long muscle fibers which form the long muscle fibers which form the functional unit of the muscular system. Give one line for the answer. Number 2. Number 2. The type of muscles. One line for the answer. The type of muscles. The type of muscles which the type of muscles which can be controlled by our will. Type of muscles which can be controlled by our will. Connective tissues present. Connective tissues present in the trachea and external ear. Trachea and external ear. Connective tissues present in the trachea and external ear. Number 4. Individual bone cells. Number 4. Name the following. Individual bone cells. You have to write what are individual bone cells known as. Individual bone cells. Number 5, that is. Number 5. After every question, leave one line for the answer. Number 5. The specialized tissue consisting of fat cells, specialized tissue consisting of fat cells, present beneath the skin, present beneath the skin. Number 6, one letter answer, number 6. Number 6. Number 6. The blood cells suspended on the plasma. The blood cells suspended on the plasma. Blood cells suspended on the plasma. Number 10, once it is 10, tell me. I'll give you only 10 questions. Number, that is 8, it is? 7. Number 7. Muscles that form the softer parts of the body, like the blood vessels, urinary bladder, etc. Softer parts of the body like the blood vessels, urinary bladder, etc. The outer protective membrane of the exon. Outer protective membrane of the exon. Outer protective membrane of the exon. Number 9. Number 9. The colorless fluid formed by the oozing out of the plasma, oozing out of plasma from blood vessels. Formed by oozing out of plasma from blood vessels. The last one. The last one. Type of muscles that show light and dark bands. Type of muscles that show light and dark bands and are voluntary. Okay. Now, look into the answers. Taking book. Try to find out the answers. Do it fast. We'll discuss epithelial tissues next. find out these answers, you have to little bit read the chapter, otherwise you're not able to do. Just go through and find out answers fast. You should have read at least once. You have any doubt? Ask, clarify. Look for the answers, read the chapter a little bit. Just go through a little bit. Your day you see, then you get all the answers. What is the first question? Read out one by one. Read out all the questions. I forgot your name. Rishi, start. Read out the question, the first one.
No muscle fibers which form the functional unit.
What is it? Muscle fiber. What are those muscle fibers known as?
Fibrous connective.
Right?
Myofibrils.
Myofibrils, right? Myofibrils. I have drawn those diagrams. I explained to you. Everything was written on the board. Myofibrils. Next, read out.
The type of muscles which can be controlled by
What are those type of muscles known as? Voluntary, very good. Go. Third.
Connective tissue present in the trachea and external ear.
What is it? Connective tissue present in the external ear. What are these type of connective tissues? What is it? Yesterday we discussed all these. What is it? Connective tissue in the external ear, tip of nose. What are those? Cartilage. Next, number 4.
Individual bone cells.
What are bone cells known as? Nine. What are bone cells known as?
Osteoblasts.
Osteoblasts. Right. What are bone cells known as? Osteoblasts. Next.
The specialized tissue consisting of fat cells, present veins,
Adipose tissues. Very good. Next.
the blood cells suspended in the plasma.
3 types of blood cells you have to write. What are the 3 types of blood cells? Look up RBCs, WBCs and platelets. RBCs, WBCs and platelets. RBCs, WBCs and platelets. Yes, go ahead.
Muscles that form the softer part of the body like blood vessels.
Which muscles form the softer parts of the body?
Unstriated.
Smooth muscles. Unstriated or smooth muscles. Unstriated or smooth muscles. Next.
The outer protective membrane of the axon.
What is that? Outermost protective membrane of the axon. What is it known as? Neurolemma. Outer protective membrane is neurolemma. Neurolemma. Next.
The colorless fluid formed by oozing out of plasma from blood vessels.
What is the type? Lymph. Very good. Lymph. Done? All done? Next.
Type of muscles that show light and dark bands and are important.
Light and dark bands are voluntary. Which type of muscles? Striated muscles. Skeletal. Striated or skeletal muscles. Striated muscles also known as skeletal muscles. That's it. Okay. Now look into epithelial tissues. Let us talk about the concept of epithelial tissues. Okay. Now epithelial tissues, first you go through the diagrams which are there in your book. Turn to epithelial tissues, that part of the chapter. Turn to epithelial tissues. Now for epithelial tissues, Rishid, no, your name? Come in. Go to Bhaiya and ask him for one 9th ICSE volume. 9th ICSE volume. Go ahead. Last year in the 8th standard you studied no pollination, fertilization, all these you studied. So after this chapter, we will start with flower. Now tissues, turn to tissues in your volume. Epithelial tissues, turn to epithelial tissues in your volume and underline all these words. Now for epithelial tissues, you just have to remember the location and function, only that much. Epithelial tissues comparatively easy. The diagrams in your notebook, in your textbook, you have to remember the same thing. So now for epithelial tissues, let us start. What are the different types of epithelial tissues? Where are they present? But if you look into this diagram, see those diagrams I asked you, look into the diagrams of your textbook. Look into diagram A and B and D and E. Okay, for all these diagrams A, B, D, E, and even for C. What is common in all these types of cellular arrangements? Can you tell me? By looking into the cells, say for A also, say for D also, say for C also, what is common? Can you see that the cells are all arranged compact? No, there are no gaps in between. The cells are all arranged in specific lines as if the tissue may be having one layer of cells or multi-layer of cells, but whatever it is, the cells are all compact. Yes or no? The cells are all compact. Now that is one major feature of the epithelial tissues. Cells are compact, one major feature of epithelial tissues. And let us come across the epithelial tissues. See the epithelial tissues, where are they present? How will you remember where are the epithelial tissues present? Epithelial tissues will always form the surface of our body or the surface of an organ or the inner lining of any cavity part of our body, always that. So can I say the outer lining of cells of the stomach is epithelial? Yes. Can I say the outer covering of our body is epithelial? Yes. So what did I say? What is the general rule? The general rule is, as I told you, how will you remember skeletal muscles way? Muscles surrounding the bones are all skeletal. How will you remember smooth muscles way? The muscles all inside the body, the inner softer regions of the body, all smooth muscles. How will you remember cardiac muscles way? Only in the heart, so same like that. If I talk about how will you remember which one is epithelial tissues, the tissues which form the outer covering of the body, or the outer covering of an organ, or the inner lining of an organ. So that means the outer covering of our body, skin, is it epithelial in nature? Yes. Outer covering of the food pipe, stomach, epithelial? Yes. Inner lining of the intestine, epithelial? Yes. Yes. All of these are. What are the three things I told you? Where is epithelial tissue? Outer covering of an entire organism, outer covering of an organ, inner lining of an organ or a tube. Clear? Now let us see. Shape, if you see, the second point you take there. Second point is very, very important. What is the second point? If it is epithelial tissues, how do you understand from the figure? Epithelial tissues are tightly together, leaving no space between. Understand that? Epithelial tissues are always tightly together, leaving no space between. Okay. Let us go to the diagram of the connective tissues. Go to the diagram of connective tissues in your textbook. The bone and the cartilage. Go to the diagram in your textbook. Bone, cartilage. Are the cells compact? Are the cells attached, tightly attached to one another? Yes or no? In connective tissues, the cartilage and the bone, are the cells tightly compact? Never. Cartilage, the cells are so few. Bone, the cells are numerous, but they are always spaced out. No? Repeatedly, I am telling you to focus on one thing. How will you identify the diagram? Which one is epithelial, which one is connective? If it is connective, cells are spread out. If it is compact, tightly attached, epithelial. Clear from the diagram? So that's why I asked you to tick point number 2. What is that feature mentioning? The feature mentions in all cells, in all cases of cells, if it is epithelial, underline tightly together, leaving no space in between. Within bracket there itself you write. Within bracket there itself you write no intercellular spaces. No intercellular spaces. So absence of intercellular spaces, a major feature of epithelium. Cells are always tightly attached to each other. Now let us go through the types. And functions. Next part, function check. Where did I say epithelial tissue is present? On the outer covering of an organism's body, on the outer covering of an organ, and on the inner wall, inner cavity of an organ or a tube. Yes? Can you tell me the epithelial tissues on the outer lining of our skin? What function it has? Can you give me one function of the outer lining of cells in our skin?
Protection.
Protection. It acts as a waterproof cover, does not allow water to evaporate. Okay. Can we think of the epithelial tissues surrounding, or the epithelial tissues in the lungs, the epithelial tissues in the small intestine? What do? Exchange of substances. So I would say gaseous exchange. Epithelial tissues in the intestine, they bring about absorption of nutrients from the intestine after digestion. Absorption of nutrients in the intestine after digestion. That is a major function here. So what are some common functions? Underline. Common functions are absorption, secretion. Absorption, secretion. Secretion means what? Releasing some or the other type of substances. Secretion and sensory perception. Sensory perception. Meaning, what is the meaning of sensory perception? These epithelial cells or tissues, they always have got nerves around them. So since they have nerves around them, wherever epithelial tissues are present, sensation is possible. What are the types? The first one. I talk about the first type of epithelial tissues. What is the first type of epithelial tissues? The first type of epithelial tissues, squamous. Here you only have to remember two things: location, where, and what function. So squamous epithelial tissues. Let us come across. Where are squamous epithelial tissues present? Underline. Squamous epithelium present in the layers of the skin, inner lining of the mouth, nasal cavity, inner lining of the mouth, nasal cavity, skin, squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium. Okay. What is the function? See there? Pick the function that is very, very important. You will be asked in your exam. Write down the function of the squamous epithelium. See? Protection from mechanical injury, germs, harmful chemicals, and underline drying up. What is the other job of the squamous? Squamous makes the outermost lining of our skin dead. Since the outermost lining of our skin is dead, the skin, does it release water by the process of evaporation? Yes, it does. Our skin releases water in the form of evaporation by the process of evaporation. But only because the outermost layer is squamous and which is dead, the process of evaporation is very slow. Can you tell me what would have happened if this dead layer of cells would not have been there? Evaporation would have been faster. Evaporation is faster, then what next? If evaporation from the layer of the skin all over the body, so much of water loss, evaporation, then what would have happened to us? Then what would have happened to us? We would have suffered from massive dehydration every now and then. We would have had to drink gallons and gallons of water. Do we do that? Do we need to do that? No. So how are we saved from all these adverse conditions? The outermost layer of the skin being dead does not allow so much of water loss by evaporation. Underline, Function of squamous. Protects underlying parts, mechanical injury, germs and harmful chemicals and drying up. It prevents the cells from drying up. Go to the next one. Stratify. Location what? Underlying skin and cornea. Location skin and cornea. Skin you know. Do you know what is cornea? Did you come across the word cornea earlier? What is cornea? Are you aware? No. Cornea is the outermost lining of the eyeball. Cornea is the outermost lining of the eyeball, transparent. So this cornea, which is transparent and it is the outermost lining of the eyeball, is also made up of stratified. So stratified epithelium, where present? Stratified epithelium is present in the skin, present in the cornea. So again, stratified epithelium is present in the skin. What can be its function? Protection? Definitely no. So take the functions there. Stratified epithelium. Stratified epithelium. What is the function of the stratified epithelium? We may add there. It is there in your textbook also. Stratified epithelium main function is protection. Just add there. Protection is the main function. Protection from UV rays, etc. Protection. Come to the third. Cuboidal. Check the cuboidal in the figure. Identify all these type of epithelial cells. I have been talking about the squamous. Can you see the first type is known as squamous? What is the arrangement of the cells? The second is known as stratified. Did you see stratified? Can you tell me one difference between stratified and squamous? Squamous is flat, one layer of cells. Stratified is tall, and multi-layered cells there. Multi-layered cells. So cuboidal cells, what is the location? Check. Cuboidal epithelium, where present? Kidney tubules and salivary ducts. Kidney tubules, salivary duct, the tubes of the kidney, salivary duct. So what can their function be? Salivary ducts. What is the job of salivary ducts? Do you know? We have got 3 pairs of salivary glands in our body. With the help of the salivary ducts, the secretion from these glands. What are the secretion from the salivary glands? Known as saliva. By the way of the ducts, will pour into the mouth. So, what is the function of the cuboidal epithelium after salivary glands? Put a comma and add their function is secretion. Cuboidal epithelium, wherever you talk about the kidney tubules, yes, secretion. They are doing some secretion. Salivary glands, very simple an example to remember. Salivary gland, they help in secretion of saliva. So common function is what to write there. Common function is secretion of substances. And there in the volume is a secretion of substances. And there. Come to the next one, columnar. Underline what type of nature of cells? Underline vertically arranged cylindrical cells. Vertically arranged cylindrical cells. That is one special feature of the columnar cells. Vertically arranged layers of cells. Okay. So now that we are talking about the vertically arranged group of cells, the columnar cells. Next is to find out that where are they present. Columnar. But columnar again, based on certain structural features, they can be of 2 types. Underline the word ciliated columnar. Ciliated columnar. What is the meaning of ciliated columnar? Ciliated columnar. These are columnar cells, but they have got fine hair-like structures known as cilia. Can you see figure E there? Can you see figure E? And can you see at the top there are some fine hair-like processes? What are these hair-like processes? You can mark in that figure. What are those hair-like processes known as in your book or here? Mark those hair-like processes as cilia. S-C-E-L-I-A. Mark those hair-like processes as cilia. C-I-L-I-A. Cilia. Done? So, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium divided again into ciliated columnar. Where is ciliated columnar present? inner nasal cavity, ciliated color is present in the walls of the trachea, inner wall of the trachea. Next, glandular epithelium. Glandular means, underline the word glandular. Glandular means it is made up of glands. And the moment I talk about glands, they will have to release some secretion. They will release some secretions. So glandular epithelium, check there. Function underline, secretes certain chemical substance. Underline. Glandular secretes certain chemical substance. Glandular secretes certain chemical substance. So now, when we are talking about the glandular, where are they present? Right now, sweat glands in the skin. Examples: sweat glands in the skin, the tear glands near the eye. Sweat glands in the skin, tear glands near the eye. These are all examples of, remember, glandular epithelial cells. So, how many types of epithelial cells we came across? Epithelial cells can be of 5 main types. So, squamous, cuboidal, stratified. These are the 3. And columnar again divided into sub 2, that is ciliated and glandular. Okay. So epithelial tissues is a comparatively short topic where only 6 types of cells to study the location and the function. That's it. Now next is okay. Now this is about the epithelial tissues. Now we move on to the plant tissues. What are the different types and their location and function? So once we are talking about the 4 types of animal tissues, what are the 4 types of animal tissues then? What did you study? 4 types of epithelial, 4 types of animal tissues: epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous. Right? Now we talk about the type of plant tissues. What are the types of plant tissues? Plant tissues. What is the definition of tissue? A group of cells, similar or dissimilar in structure, performing a common function. So here for plant tissues, the 2 main categories. What are the 2 main categories? The 2 main categories we are going to write would be meristematic. Both of you will write on this flow chart. As I write down, you will have to write. Okay? Meristematic. And what about the other side? Permanent. Meristematic and permanent. So what are the 2 broad groups of plant tissues? The 2 broad groups of plant tissues are meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. So now, talking about some major feature of the meristematic and the permanent tissue. So let me just talk about meristematic first. Meristematic cells are small and fast dividing. Cells are small, fast dividing cells. Meristematic, where are they present? They are present, or where are they found? They are found at the growing tips of a plant. They are found at the growing tips of the plant. They are found at the growing tips of the plant. Okay? But meristematic again has got certain types. We have to talk about the types of meristematic. What are the types of meristematic? The first is apical meristem. The first is apical meristem. Where am I thinking of these type of tissues present? I may talk about a plant. This is a plant. This plant has got its roots. And now that this plant is growing, I would say that this growing tip of the plant, this is known as the shoot tip. It is actually from here the plant is growing, it is increasing in its height. So when I talk about that, this particular region, this is generally known as the shoot tip of the plant. This will be known as the shoot tip, because this part only will keep on dividing and resulting in the formation of the branches. From here, some branches, and then that is how a plant generally grows. That is how a plant generally grows. The plant keeps on growing. If at all you have noticed the stem of a plant, the stem is growing and constantly it is giving rise to some lateral branches, and this again will give rise to some more branches. But by the time this is constantly growing taller. So where is meristematic tissues present? Meristematic tissues here. Where is meristematic tissues present? Meristematic tissues here. Where is meristematic tissues present? Meristematic tissues here. So I would say that's the reason I have written down where are meristematic tissues present? Always at the tips, growing tips of a plant, meaning the root tip in the soil, the shoot tip up there above the soil. So always to write major location. So let me talk about then typically talking about the apical meristems. Which one is apical meristems? Typically this is apical meristem. So I would say now that I have mentioned meristems, but actually typically what? Typically they are apical meristems. All of this. They are apical meristems. This is apical meristem. That also, the root tip also apical meristems. So apical meristems I would write, location is what? They are present in the root and shoot tip. Root and shoot tip. So root and shoot tip means what? At the growing points of the root, at the growing regions of the stem, where the process of cell division happens, at the process of cell division, and they are able to carry out growth. What is the function of the apical meristems? Help in increasing of the height of the shoot, and the length of the root. So what is the job of this apical meristem? What is its function? Function, what are you supposed to write? Apical meristems helps in increasing the height of a plant. Whenever you have planted a small sapling, did you ever observe that they are growing tall? Which type of cells are involved in increasing the height? Apical meristems. So apical meristems are making the plant tall, the shoot tall. Below the soil, which type of tissue is increasing the root system spread out? Apical meristems again. Apical meristems help in increasing the length of the roots, increasing the length of the roots. Then we also talk about, look into the diagram there. The next type of meristems if I talk about. What is the other type of meristems? I will talk about the cambium. Now try to understand. This is one plant, very young plant. But what will happen to this plant if I try to see this plant after a year? After 1 year, what should be the change in this plant? After 1 year, I am supposed to see that this plant has already given rise to some. This plant will already give rise to what? The stem, and this stem will be quite broad. And what about the root system? The root system will be maybe the taproot, right? Talking about maybe the taproot. But this taproot will give rise to a large number of branches, lateral branches, and every lateral branch again further divided. Every lateral branch further divided. So actually, this plant which we have put in the soil, after a year, this is the situation. What about the stem? Yes, the stem has given rise to so many sub-branches. This has given rise to so many sub-branches, and then now the leaf, and then now the flower. So all these things have developed in this 1 year time, and it is a big tree now. So I would say that what is the other type of meristems? The other type of meristems, we are talking about the meristems, two types, apical meristems, and next is we talk about cambium. Next is we talk about cambium. Where is cambium present? Cambium is present below the bark or the inner region of the bark. Below the bark. Cambium is present below the bark. What is its function? It increases the girth of the stem. Increases the girth or the diameter of the stem. Increases the girth of the stem. So what are the two types of meristematic tissues I am talking about? Cambium and apical meristems. So how did this narrow stem become this broad? Because just on the inner regions of the bark, there was certain type of tissues, certain type of meristematic tissues. And what are these meristematic tissues on the inner regions of the bark known as? On the inner regions of the bark, the type of tissues are known as what? Cambium. So what is the common feature between the cells of the cambium and the apical meristems? Can you tell me now? What is one common feature between the cambium and the apical meristem? Cells of the cambium and apical meristem. What is the common feature? They are small. The cells are fast dividing and helps in growth of the plant. That's the common feature. What is the common feature of the cells of the cambium? What is the common feature between the cells of the cambium and the apical meristems? Common feature क्या है? Common feature is they are both helping in the growth of the plant. One is making the plant parts broader and thicker. The other is making the plant parts increase in height, branching of the root. So both are in their own respective way carrying out the process of cell division. So that is the general feature. Where are meristematic tissues present? Always at the growing tips of the plant. What do they help the plant in? Growth. Okay. So this is meristematic. Then now let us talk about the permanent tissues. What are the different types of the permanent tissues? What are their features? Permanent tissues. Common features of permanent tissues are what? Common features of permanent tissues are cells are dead. Common features are what? Cells are dead. They form the bulk of the plant. They form the bulk of the plant. What else? They are formed from meristematic. They are formed from the meristematic cells. They are formed from the meristematic cells. Permanent tissues. The moment I start thinking of permanent tissues, one feature that should definitely be remembered is the cells of the permanent tissues are dead. The cells of the permanent tissues are dead. Okay, let me just draw the type of cells. If I have to draw the type of cells of the permanent tissues and type of cells of the meristematic tissues. If I draw the cells of the meristematic tissues, they are actually like this. The cells are all compact. The cells are more or less compact. And there will be a definitely well-formed nucleus. Yes, vacuole may be there well-formed. But they will definitely have a well-formed nucleus. What about the permanent tissues? The cells, permanent tissues. If I talk about the cells of the permanent tissues, they are not generally compact. They have got spaces in between. Vacuole is prominent, wall is thin. Nucleus is not a very prominent part of the cell. Nucleus is not a very prominent part of the cell. So, if I talk about the permanent tissues, always to remember the permanent tissue cells. The permanent tissue cells are dead cells. Meaning they cannot divide on their own. They cannot help in growth. But if they cannot help in growth and divide on their own, then how are they forming the bulk of the plant? What is the meaning of bulk? Bulk matlab major part of the plant. I talk about a big tree. The entire root, parenchyma. The permanent tissues. The stem part, permanent tissues. The leaf, permanent tissues. The fruit, permanent tissues. Then where is meristematic? Meristematic is only in the growing ends of the branches and the stem. Meristematic is only in the growing parts of the root. So meristematic tissues are constantly dividing, and after some time they get converted into permanent. Clear? But one permanent cell, can they divide to give rise to two permanent cells? No, they are dead. Meristematic, one cell can divide to form two cells, and out of those two cells, one will get transformed into permanent, the other will continue to be. That is the method. So I'm saying that permanent tissues, they cannot divide, they are dead, but they form the bulk of the plant. Give reason. How can we say that they form the bulk of the plant? Because they are formed from meristematic cells. Always to write this as an answer. Now let us talk about the types. What are the types of permanent tissues? The types of permanent tissues, to understand, what are the types of permanent tissues? The first is parenchyma. Okay, parenchyma, no. First, we will have to talk about the simple and the complex. Let us talk about this. Permanent tissues can be simple permanent tissues, simple permanent tissues, and complex permanent tissues. Permanent tissues, simple permanent tissues, and complex permanent tissues. What is the definition? Difference is what? Simple permanent tissues meaning made up of one type of cells. Made up of only one type of cells. Complex permanent made up of two or more types of cells. Two or more types of cells. Okay. So simple permanent made up of only one type of cells always. Complex permanent will always be made up of two or more types of cells. So first of all, we will try understanding what are the different types of simple permanent. I take simple permanent first. The first category that I take would be simple permanent. I talk about simple permanent tissues. Now, simple permanent tissues, what are the different types? Simple permanent, three types. We will have to know the location, the function, and the features. Look into the diagrams as I speak, because you'll have to identify the diagrams. Knowing the diagrams, very important, both for your volume and your textbook, both. Both for your volume and textbook, look into the diagrams. I talk about the first type of simple permanent tissues. What is the first? There, this page. This page. Just follow this diagrams first. Volume, which page is it? Which page we? 19. Okay. So as I'm explaining, refer to this diagrams first. So I talk about the simple permanent. What did I tell you? What is the meaning of simple permanent tissues? They are made up of only one type of cells. Simple permanent made up of only one type of cells. So now let us learn what are the types. The first type of simple permanent tissues are parenchyma. Okay. The first type of simple permanent cells, the first type of simple permanent tissues, parenchyma. Look at the diagram of parenchyma. As I speak about the characteristics, try to match. Parenchyma cells. The parenchyma cells. Are the cells compact or they have intercellular spaces? Look at the diagram, page 19. The parenchyma cells, are the cells compact or they have intercellular spaces in between? Do they have spaces in between? Intercellular spaces are present or absent? Present. So if I talk about the parenchyma, the first type of cells that I am talking about, simple permanent tissues, look into the section of any type of parenchyma cells. The cells are having intercellular spaces. What about the walls? The walls are thin. The walls are thin. Walls are thin. The parenchyma cells that I am talking about, they have got intercellular spaces present. Intercellular spaces present. Do they have a nucleus, and is the nucleus functional? No. The nucleus cannot show the process of division. Vacuole present? Yes. Intercellular spaces there, wall is thin. So these are some features. What type of function does the parenchyma show? Where is parenchyma present? I would say parenchyma is present in the root. Parenchyma is present in the stem. The fruit that you eat, the mangoes that you are eating, the pulp of the mango that you are eating is all parenchyma. The pear that you eat, the bulk of the fruit is all parenchyma. The potatoes that we eat, the carrot that we eat, the beetroot that we eat is all parenchyma. So parenchyma forms the major part of a fruit or a crop. The major part of a stem or a root. So when we are talking about the parenchyma, these are some of the major features about the cell. The cell wall is thin. Yes or no? The cell wall is thin, vacuole is present, intercellular space is there. But the nucleus is not capable of showing division. Nucleus cannot divide, grow. Present where? I already gave you some examples. Where are they present? They are present in the potatoes. They are present in the root, turnip and the beetroot. They are present in the stem, various different type of plant parts. Stem, leaf. In the leaf also, the entire leaf of a plant, if I talk about, what type of a tissue? Parenchyma. Parenchyma. Okay. Since I am talking about the leaf, let me not talk about the leaf in specific. I talk about the leaf. Talking about this particular leaf. Now, this particular leaf, I want to see in a section, and then I get to see that the leaves have a certain arrangement of cells. Some layers and layers and layers and layers of cells are there. Some layers and layers and layers of cells are there. But then, talking about these cells of the leaf, what type of special feature? These cells of the leaf, they have got some special feature, and I would say that these cells of the leaf, they have got special feature. And what is that special feature? They have got chloroplast in large number and parenchyma cells with large number of chloroplasts. What are they known as? Parenchyma. It's a specialized type of parenchyma. It's a specialized type of parenchyma. What am I saying? The parenchyma which is present in the leaf. Parenchyma present in the leaf. How are they specialized? They have got large number of chloroplasts. So what will they be termed as? They are known as parenchyma. Is that word there? Parenchyma, is that word there? Underline in your textbook or the volume. So now I am talking about the parenchyma. What is parenchyma? You understood just now? Is it a type of a simple permanent or complex permanent? Simple permanent. Why is it simple permanent? Because it is made up of only one type of cells. The entire tissue is made up of only one type of cell. Yes or no? The entire tissue, I talk about the leaf or the stem or the root. Look into the figure. Look into the parenchyma figure, the section. Is it not made up of only one type of cell? Yes. Made up of only one type of a cell. If tissues are made up of only one type of cell, what will we call them as? Simple organ. So what are the characteristics of a parenchyma? I told you just now, cells are thin, cell wall is thin, cells are small, nucleus present, yes, but not capable of division. Vacuole there, yes. What about the space between the cells? Intercellular space is there. But then to understand that in the potato and the turnip and the beetroot and the carrot, it is okay, the same. The moment I talk about the parenchyma of the leaf, they will have one more feature added, and that is large number of chloroplasts. Leaf cells are supposed to carry out photosynthesis. So the parenchyma of the leaf will always have large number of chloroplasts. So what is this type of parenchyma known as? Chlorenchyma. So what is chlorenchyma? If you get a question, what to write? Parenchyma of the leaves containing large number of chloroplasts. Parenchyma of the leaf containing large number of the chloroplasts. That is what is known as chlorenchyma. Correct? Next, let us talk about the next type. I talk about parenchyma. Let us talk about the second type of permanent tissue, simple permanent. What is the second type? Collenchyma. Look into collenchyma, the figure, the diagram, check. Look into the diagram of collenchyma. Now, how is the collenchyma and the parenchyma different? If you check the diagram of the collenchyma cells, can you see in the corners of the cell? Look into the cross section. Look into the diagram of your textbook also, the volume also. Now, if you see the section of the cells, can you see there the margins of the cells are bit thicker? The second diagram, check. Are the margins of the cells bit thick? Yes, the margins of the cells are thick, but the thickness is not even, it is at the corners. Something like, I may talk about the collenchyma cells, and if I am drawing the collenchyma cells, I would say that yes, the collenchyma cells are something like this, but looking into the arrangement of the cells have got some thickenings at the corners. The cells have got some thickenings at the corners. At the corners of the cells, there is an extra deposit of cellulose. The thickenings, look into the longitudinal section, look into the cross section. Whether I talk about the longitudinal section or I talk about the cross section, in each of these cases, you can see the corners of the cells are thicker. Yes or no? The corners of the cells are thicker. So corners of the cells are thicker is always a feature of the collenchyma. And why the corners of the cells are thick? Because there is a extra deposition of cellulose. But what is the benefit? The benefit is this provides flexibility to the plant parts wherever they are present. Flexibility or strength, elasticity. Strength to the plant parts provides flexibility or strength to the plant parts. For example, this is the plant, this is the tree that I am talking about. I am talking about a tall, big tree, and this tree has got so many branches, and then some leaves, and then some flowers here. Now these branches has got some flowers. Suppose these branches has got some flowers. Now these branches at the top has got some flowers. I'm not able to reach those flowers. What do we do? I will pull this stem, and this stem bends, and I'm plucking these flowers. I talk about a tall big tree. There are some flowers at the top. I'm not able to reach those flowers. So what am I doing? I'm pulling the stem, I'm pulling that small branch, and I'm plucking the flowers. The moment I leave the branch, goes back. The moment I was pulling, did it immediately break? No, it did not. Now, just 2 days back also there was a little bit of a light shower. Rain was there. Before the rain there was a little bit of a strong wind also. But now when the strong wind was there, and later in the month of August also that we are going to come across, wind and strong wind along with rain. So when strong winds are there, does the branches bend? Does the entire upper part of the plant bend and shake and bend and shake? Yes. But immediately they don't break, no? The branches would bend and the part of the stem would bend, but immediately they don't break unless and until the force is too big. So which type of tissue gives flexibility to the plant parts, that strength to the plant parts, that you can pull the stem branch bend and again they may revert back. Immediately they will not crack and break. So this is known as the flexibility of the plant parts. So what type of tissue gives flexibility to the plant parts? Collenchyma. Clear? Collenchyma. Look into the diagram for the collenchyma again. Collenchyma and parenchyma. So what are the differences? Parenchyma, if at all, they are present in majority of the parts of the plant. The root and the stem and the flower and the seed and the crop. Major part of the plant is all parenchyma. Then where is collenchyma present? I would say, talking about the location of collenchyma, yes, collenchyma is present here. Because whenever there is a strong wind, these parts of the stem and the branches would bend, but immediately they would not break. So when we are talking about the collenchyma, I would say yes, collenchyma is present at the stalk of the flower. Collenchyma is present at the petiole of the leaf. Collenchyma is present at these regions, branches, because I can pull this will bend, immediately it will not break. So collenchyma is present at all these regions, branches, the petiole of the leaf, the stalk of the flower. These are the regions where the collenchyma is always present. So function of collenchyma, what to write? Provides flexibility to the plant parts. The third type. What is the third type we understand? The third type that we are going to talk about would be the sclerenchyma. The third type is sclerenchyma. What is it? Sclerenchyma. Now tell me, what is common? Okay, first of all, look into the diagram. Let us try to understand where is sclerenchyma present, what about its function. Can you tell me some dead parts of the plant? Absolutely. The bark of the plant, that is dead. What about the dry fibrous structure of a coconut? Is that dead? What about the outer covering of a peanut? Dead? Did you ever see the outer covering of a peanut? Dead, no? What about the outer covering of the coconut? Absolutely dead. What about the outer covering of a walnut? Pistachio? All dead. So if I talk about all these examples, I would say, where are these sclerenchyma present? Where is it present? Sclerenchyma forms the outer covering. It forms the outer covering of the seed. It forms the husk of the coconut. It forms the husk of the coconut. What are some of the features of the sclerenchyma? The cells are evenly thick. I told you to keep writing this flowchart. You did not. Why did you stop? Right? Keep writing this flowchart. Nico, this is a ready reference. You have to remember the types and the examples. Rest from the volume from the book, the diagrams, of course. Diagrams I am not drawing because only 2 of you and you have the book with you. So diagram drawing will not come in your exam. But identification of the diagram is important. Which type of tissue looks how? That is important. That will definitely come. So sclerenchyma, I said, outer covering of the seed, husk of the coconut, veins of the leaf, all sclerenchyma. How do they look like? Check the figure. If I talk about the cells of the sclerenchyma, they are all spindle shaped. The cells of the sclerenchyma, they are all spindle shaped like this. And these cells, if you look into the cells of the sclerenchyma, they are thick, so thick. They are so thick. And then this thickness is, they have got openings like this, small, small openings. So check the figure for the sclerenchyma. How the cells are thick? The cells are evenly thick. Cells are evenly thick. All throughout the cell is thick, and the cell wall is made up of a very thick substance. What is this substance known as? This substance is known as the lignin. The cell wall is made up of a very thick substance known as the lignin. What is this? Lignin. Lignin. So it is only for the sclerenchyma that the cell wall is made up of lignin. Then what about the cell wall for the collenchyma? Cellulose. What about the cell wall for the parenchyma? Cellulose. Very thick, thick at the corners and evenly thick. So this is what about the simple permanent tissues that I have been talking about. Simple permanent tissues. What are the simple permanent tissues made up of? Only one type of cell. Whether I talk about parenchyma, or I talk about collenchyma, or I talk about sclerenchyma. Take down this flowchart. That will be a ready reference for you to remember the types, the locations, the characteristics you have to go through again from the volume, from the textbook. In the textbook, it is given in the form of a paragraph. You can first read from the volume, learn the points. I have already written down all the important points here. Learn the points and then go read the textbook. The next class we are going to talk about the complex permanent tissues. Two more types we have to talk about. Take down this, complete this flowchart. Both of you, complete the flowchart. Done? Are you done? Completed? Look at the page 26 of your volume. Page 26. Page 26B, very short answer type. Try number 1. Try number 3. Try number 1 and 3. Tick number 1 and 3. Number 1, number 3. From your volume, page 26. Name the kind of tissue found. Name the kind of tissue found at the tip of the plant roots. What will you write? At the tip of the plant roots. What to write? What type of tissue? Keep writing. Take your pencil and start writing down the answer there only. Name the kind of tissue. At the tip of the plant roots, what to write? What is it? At the tip of the plant roots, apical meristems. At the lower surface of the leaf, we'll have to write epidermis. That is known as epidermis. At the lower surface of the leaf, epidermis. In the inner lining of the intestine, we have studied epithelial tissues. Inner lining of the intestine is? What type of epithelium? Inner lining of the intestine is what type of epithelium? Nahin. Check. Inner lining of the intestine. What type of epithelium? Inner lining of the stomach. Stomach and the intestine is cuboidal. Columnar. No? Columnar. Cuboidal is kidney tubules. Columnar. Check. Write down the inner lining of intestine. At the joints between two long bones? Cartilage. The last one. In the walls of the veins of leaves? Sclerenchyma. Dead part of the plant is always sclerenchyma. Complete number 3. Group of similar cells that perform a specific function. What is it? Tissues. Cells responsible for increasing diameter of the stem and root. Cells responsible for increasing diameter of the cells and the stem and root. Which type of cells? Which type of cells increase the diameter? Meristematic cells, they are asking. Cells, you have to write meristematic. Tissue, if they ask, then cambium. What type of cells are responsible for increasing the diameter of the stem, root? Meristematic. Meristematic. Let us complete with number 4 and then we wind up. Name one place. Name one place. Name one place. Meristematic. Tip of the root. Keep writing. Tip of the root. Write one location. Write one place for cartilage. Here. External ear. Tip of the nose. Ligament. What to write? Ligament, what does it do? Yesterday we learned connects bone to bone. So ligament, what will you write? Legs, palm, toes, fingers. Sclerenchyma, what location? Bark of the tree. Ciliated epithelium, where to write? Nose, trachea. Squamous epithelium, where to write? Skin. Okay. So read this part of the chapter. So this chapter almost we are finishing. All these questions we'll have to do. So if you are able to do on your own after understanding, it is good. So read and come with the chapter just at least read once. Then the next class we are going to complete with complex component tissues.